In last session we have discussed about the graphs of inverse function and also some notes regarding them, like opposite sign theory and also the theory related with the addition of two inverse functions, right? So let us continue with the next theory, in which it's very important point that if I have sine inverse of sine x, cos inverse of cos x, tan inverse of tan x, cot inverse of cot x, sec inverse of sec x, and cosec inverse of cos x, then according to the rule, sine inverse of sine x will give you answer as x if and only if x belongs to minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. Similarly, here it is x if x belongs to 0 to pi. It has answer x if x belongs to minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. For x belongs to 0 to pi. For x belongs to 0 to pi, minus pi by 2, and minus pi by 2 to pi by 2, minus 0. So in other words, if inverse and function you have, so it can be cancelled out if and only if whatever angle is there, that angle must be in the domain of a function, right? Corresponding function. That means sine inverse of sine x will give you answer as x if and only if this x belongs to the domain of sine. Okay, now let us take one example and let us find out that why it has happened. Now, as we all know that if a function defined from a to b, then its inverse will be defined from b to a. That means whatever range of the function will become domain for inverse. So if I take x as pi by 6, so sine inverse of sine pi by 6. As we know that sine pi by 6 has answer 1 by 2. Sine pi by 6 has answer 1 by 2. That means by putting pi by 6 in that function, we'll get 1 by 2 as answer. So now this 1 by 2 will become domain for inverse. So what will be the answer? It must be pi by 6. Right? So now again the answer is pi by 6. So we can directly write down the answer of sine inverse of sine pi by 6 as pi by 6. But what if I have sine inverse of sine phi pi by 6? We all know that sine phi pi by 6 has also answer 1 by 2. Sine phi pi by 6 has also answer 1 by 2. So I can write down like this, that it will be sine inverse of half, and this can be again pi by 6, not phi pi by 6. Reason, if you remember the graph of sine inverse, so it can be only in between what? Minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. That is the reason. Right? So if we have sine inverse of sine phi pi by 6, so we have to convert this phi pi by 6 in the interval of minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. Okay? So you understand the properties. So similar to sine, if you have cos, tan, cot, sec and cosec, whatever function we have, we just have to convert all the angles in the respective domains of the functions. Right? So now, so as you understand this, you can easily understand if we have sine of sine inverse x, cos of cos inverse x, tan of tan inverse x, cot of cot inverse x, sec of sec inverse x, and cosec of cosec inverse x, right? All these 6 values has answer equals to x, but the only thing which is different from this is the domain. So here if I get answer as x, here it is x. If in this case x belongs to minus 1 to 1, this has x because this for x belongs to r. Here it is x for x belongs to r minus 1 to 1. Right? I only just use with the curly brackets because both of them have similar domain. Okay? So hope you understand. Next point. So in next note, we have to discuss about the reciprocal values. That means, what if I have sine inverse of x? So I can convert sine inverse of x as cosec inverse of 1 by x. If I have cos inverse of x, then I can convert in form of sec inverse of x. if I have tan inverse of x, then this is the special case where it can be divided in two conditions, where for positive values and for negative values. Similarly, if we have cosec inverse x, so we can convert in form of sin inverse 1 by x. If we have sec inverse x, then we can convert in form of cos inverse 1 by x. Similarly, if you have cot inverse x, then again there are two rules. Tan inverse 1 by x for positive value and tan inverse 1 by x plus pi for the negative values. So what are the domain conditions related with this function? It is as it is, that x belongs to minus 1 to 1. It is x belongs to minus 1 to 1. Here x belongs to r minus minus 1 to 1 and x belongs to r minus minus 1 to 1. So why there is problem with these two cases, right? And how these reciprocal values are there. So I'll give you just a single proof for any one of the function. Let me take the proof for sine inverse. So I assume that sine inverse x as theta. So x equals sine theta. Now we all know that if x equals sine theta, then 1 by x equals what? Cosec theta. So what will be theta now? Theta will become cosec inverse 1 by x. So what is theta? We have already assumed it is sine inverse x. So we can convert sine inverse x as cosec inverse 1 by x. Okay, this is how you can get the proof for cos inverse as well as cosec inverse and sec inverse. The similar proof you can also get for tan inverse also. But the point which we need to discuss right now is that why there is a difference for the positive value and for the negative value. So let me tell you again, just check the graphs. If you observe the graph, if I plot the graph of sec and cosec on the same domain, on the same I can say coordinate geometry. So this is the graph of sine inverse, right? And this is the graph of cosec inverse. Now what you observe? So if I put any single value of x, if I put any positive value of x, let's say x equals half, and if I take its reciprocal value, which is x equals 2, so I found that the both values give you the same answer. This value x equals half will be on the graph of sine inverse x, and x equals 2 will be on the graph of cosec inverse x. The similar kind of thing you can get on the negative side also. That if I put any value of x as minus 1 by 2 and its reciprocal value as x equals minus 2. So this value will get on the sine inverse graph and this value will get on the cos inverse graph, right? Like this. Right? So why there is no difference for sine inverse and cosec inverse for any positive and negative? Because sine inverse and cosec inverse gives the answer in the positive interval, that is in the first interval when we put the positive values, and gives you the negative answer when I put the negative values. The similar case, if you just observe the graph of, if you understand this, right? If you just plot the similar kind of conditions for sec inverse and cos inverse, right? So this is the graph of cos inverse and this is the graph, this is the graph of sec inverse, right? So these two are the graphs related with sec inverse and here is the graph for cos inverse. So similar kind of condition we can obtain for sec as well as cos also. That both will give us positive answer in first quadrant, which is 0 to pi by 2, and both will give us negative answer in between pi by 2 to pi, right? So there is no difference in the range. But when you plot the graph of tan inverse and cot inverse on the same scale, when you plot the graph of tan inverse and cot inverse, so this is the graph of tan inverse, right? And if I say that this is the line pi by 2, right? So this can be the graph of cot inverse. So what you observe? That we don't have any issue with the positive value. When we put positive values of x, both will give us answer in between 0 to pi by 2. But when we put negative values, tan will give us answer in between minus pi by 2 to 0, whereas cot inverse will give us answer in between pi by 2 to pi, right? So to convert the values of this tan in terms of cot, we have to subtract pi from the cot. Just check. This is the case. And on the other hand, when we put a negative value in the cot and its reciprocal value we need to find out, to convert in form of that we have to add the pi. So that is the reason why we are subtracting pi and why we are adding pi when we want to go with the reciprocal values, because tan inverse and cot inverse will give us different answers in the different region when we apply the negative values, whereas in sine cosec or sec cos, answers of function whether negative value or whether positive value give us the same region, right? This is the reason why we are using this condition. So hope you understand this. Okay, so this is the important one. Then after the second rule we have to apply. The next point, in which we have some rules related with the addition. So if tan inverse x plus tan inverse y, we have to find out. So there are three rules. It's x plus y upon 1 minus xy for xy less than 1. It's tan inverse x plus y upon 1 minus xy for xy plus pi for xy greater than 1, and pi by 2 for xy equals to 1, right? X dot y, if we have x into y and its multiplication will be less than 1, then we can say that x plus y upon 1 minus xy is your answer. Then for greater than 1, we have to add pi, so it's pi plus tan inverse x plus y upon 1 minus xy, and for xy equals to 1, the answer will be pi by 2. I'll give you a proof for any one of the conditions. So if I assume that let tan inverse x as alpha and tan inverse y as beta, so what will be tan alpha plus beta? It's tan alpha plus tan beta upon 1 minus tan alpha tan beta. Now replace alpha plus beta as x and y, and if I take tan on the opposite side, so what is alpha? It's tan inverse x plus tan inverse y equals tan on the opposite side. So it's tan inverse, tan alpha will be x plus y upon 1 minus xy. This is how we can get the answer. Okay. As far as your textbook is concerned, you have to focus only on this first equation. Okay. Then, similar to that, there is another equation which is related with the negative sign. Tan inverse x minus tan inverse y will give you the direct answer, tan inverse x minus y upon 1 plus xy. Okay, we forgot to discuss about this pi by 2. See, we discuss a condition. I have written a condition that xy equals 1. So what if xy equals 1? We can replace y as. We can replace y as 1 by x. Okay, so now in this equation, it's tan inverse x plus tan inverse 1 by x. I have to take the condition that here x and y both are positive. Okay, if x and y both are positive, so can I replace tan inverse x plus tan inverse 1 by x as cot inverse x? We just discussed the reciprocal value theorem, right? So now tan inverse x plus cot inverse x is equals to what? Pi by 2. This is the reason. Okay. Next. There are some rules which you can directly apply in the equation, in which the rules are 2 tan inverse x equals sine inverse 2x by 1 plus x square. This is the first rule. Second, 2 tan inverse x for cos inverse 1 minus x square upon 1 plus x square. And third rule, 2 tan inverse x with tan inverse 2x upon 1 minus x square. There are some properties related with this, right? So this can be possible for mode x less than 1. This can be for again mode x less than 1, and here is the condition for x greater than 0. Okay. Now, as you just check how we can prove all of them. So how I can write down 2 tan inverse x as? So I can write down 2 tan inverse x as tan inverse x plus tan inverse x. Right? As you check, we already took a condition that this can be possible for x greater than 0. So if I apply this property over here, so it can be tan inverse x plus x by 1 minus x dot x. So it can be 2 times 2x by 1 minus x square. So this is how we can get 2 tan inverse x as tan inverse 2x by 1 minus x square. Clear? Now let tan inverse 2x by 1 minus x square as theta. So what will be tan theta? Tan theta will be 2x by 1 minus x square. And now if you plot the triangle as tan theta is, as I consider this as theta. So what is tan theta? It's opposite side by adjacent side. So what will be the hypotenuse? Your hypotenuse will be compulsory 1 plus x square. And now if you just check that what I can represent as sin theta. So sin theta will be 2x by 1 plus x square, and cos theta will be 1 minus x square by 1 plus x square. You just check that tan theta equals this term. So what will be theta? Theta will be tan inverse 2x by 1 minus x square. Similarly, the same theta can you represent as sin inverse 2x by 1 plus x square, and similar theta you can represent in terms of cos inverse 1 minus x square by 1 plus. Okay, so let's start with exercise number 2.1. So in that, the first question we have, y equals sin inverse of minus 1 by 2. Now, we all know the opposite sign property, that if sin inverse of minus 1 by 2 is there, so we can take minus sign outside. And now if we can directly write down the answer, then it's also okay. Or instead of writing the direct answer, we know that it's pi by 6, sin pi by 6 for 1 by 2 value. The only reason I need to put pi by 6 is what? Pi by 6 is between minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. And now according to the property, inverse and function cancel, hence your answer is minus pi by 6. Right? So majority times this type of questions will be asked in the MCQs only. Okay. Second number, in that cosec inverse 2 we have to find out. So now what is the value of 2 in terms of cosec? So it will be cosec pi by 6, and now I can directly remove function and inverse, because this pi by 6 must be belongs to minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. Okay, next number 3. Number 3 has y equals cos inverse root 3 by 2. Okay, so now we need to find out that where the root 3 by 2 answer is there in terms of cos. So it will be cos of pi by 6, and now if you remove function and inverse, then it will be pi by 6. The reason pi by 6 again belongs to 0 to pi. Okay, next in number 4 we have y equals tan inverse of minus root 3. So tan inverse is an odd function, right? So we can keep minus sign outside, and then in place of root 3 we can say it is tan pi by 3, and now function and inverse cancel, so it will be minus pi by 3. The reason here the pi by 3 belongs to minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. Instead of that, or instead of this, if you know the direct value of tan minus root 3, so you can write down like this, that it is equals to tan of minus pi by 3. And now you can remove function and inverse to get the answer directly as pi by 3. Because minus pi by 3 also belongs to the interval minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. Okay. Next question. In number 5, we have y equals cos inverse of minus 1 by 2. Now just be careful. I will show you two methods. In first method, if we go with the negative sign value method, negative method rule, right? So in that, what will be the value condition if cos inverse minus x is there? So I can represent pi minus cos inverse of half. So pi minus cos inverse of, it is cos pi by 3. Now we can remove function and inverse. So pi minus pi by 3 will give us 2 pi by 3. This is the answer. Or if you have y equals cos inverse of minus 1 by 2. So from the graph you need to think that if we put any negative value, then inverse, cos inverse will give us answer in pi by 2 to pi by 2. Pi to pi by 2, sorry, right? For negative value of x, cos inverse will give us answer in pi by 2 to pi. So in pi by 2 to pi, in second quadrant, which point will give us minus half. So we can directly write down that cos inverse of cos 2 pi by 3. And this 2 pi by 3 again belongs to 0 to pi, right? So we remove it and we can get the answer as 2 pi by 3. Just check. Both method will give you the same answer. It's only depends on how careful you all know the rules, right? That is the only thing we need.